Hello, welcome back to All for United WFC. Finally, I've been saying for a few weeks now, I want to come on here and do a match reaction where we've won a game. And as it says in the title, it was always going to be, I said to Andrew as soon as full time finished, I was like, glad we scored 5 goals because that makes the title of this video easy. Because every time we score 5, I just copy and paste 5-star performance. And it's easily done. Saves me thinking up a title for this one. So yeah, as you can see, and we've got 5 of us on the panel as well to fill it out even more. So we'll discuss all the goals, all the performances, all those kind of things over the next hour or so. Obviously, get your thoughts in. Everyone's been here before. I recognise all of you in the chat already, so make sure you get your comments in the next hour. And we'll talk all through the game itself. But I want to start with something a little bit. I don't know why I'm going to ask this, but I thought I'm going to. While I was writing the questions down, I thought, why not? Let's just start with something a little bit weird. Or, well, it's not weird. It's just a random question to ask. I'm going to do it in reverse order as well, just because why not? Jess, I'll come to yourself first. If you could sum up Walton Hall Park in a sentence, how are you summing it up? How was your experience at Walton Hall Park? What do you say?
I don't know where to begin. It very much gives Sunday League vibes. Let's just leave it at that.
Mark, what are you going for? You said I was in for a treat on the last show you were on.
And it didn't disappoint.
I'd agree with that. How would you sum it up?
It's a park.
Oh yeah, that's pretty fair. It's not quite the park to France, is it? That PSG play, but it's just about. Charlie?
One word, scaffolding.
There's a lot of that about, to be fair.
Yes.
And Barry, I know you've been there. Obviously, you weren't there yesterday, but I'm pretty sure you have been to Walton Hall Park. How would you sum it up?
I would say I've seen better stadiums while travelling with Stevenage, and that's saying something. In fact, our ground is probably better than that. It's got a cafe.
Yeah, Walton Hall Park. They actually said they'd run out of water before the game had even kicked off when I went to the refreshments van, which was unbelievable. I've never been to a ground where that's happened.
On to the important points there, though, Connor. Were the girly toilets open?
I think they were. So one up on the Park of France.
How would you know? I was actually asking the girls.
It's good to know why. Yes, Charlie and Jess can answer that one.
Yes, they were open.
So automatically, my sentence is better than the Parc des Princes.
Yes.
It was certainly quite something. It's brilliant. You get so close to the players, and it's great having that experience. But I'd tell you something, you can't see a thing when it's down the other end. You're trying to work out, which I'm sure we'll discuss when we get to the third goal, because none of us knew that went in. Hence the delayed cheer, like 10 seconds afterwards when we finally realised. So we are going to get to that one as well. Right, where should we start? Start of the game there. So, Barry, come to yourself first. Obviously, United this season we haven't started games particularly, I guess, on the front. We saw last season we went ahead in a lot of games. It was always cruise control. After that, we'd get a second or a third and kill the games off. To be honest, for the first time this season, I think we started pretty well in this one. The first kind of 10, 15 minutes, obviously before we'll talk about the goal separately. Miyazawa had a couple of chances. Malard had a chance. Parris had one as well. I think we actually started the game pretty well in this one.
Yeah, some very, very good chances, some very good goals. As you said, we're going to get to the goals, I'm sure, but I think their goalkeeper has had a shocker for the vast majority of them, to be fair. But I was quite annoyed, actually, Connor, because I was quite content at 4-0. Absolutely delighted, thinking there's my 4 points for the prediction league. And then Nikita Parris, of all people, just mugged me right off. So she's in my bad books now. It's amazing that's what it took. It was probably the best goal of the game. But what a start. I mean, I said 4-0 and you looked at me as if I was absolutely crazy, but I knew we'd keep the clean sheet. I knew we'd beat them because I just didn't see anything about Everton so far this season that indicated that we couldn't get that win. So Leicester was always going to be tricky. Everton, not so much. So, yeah, loved it. Really good result. Fair play to the girls.
Yeah, to be fair, I wasn't as confident as you with the 4. And I can't remember what I went on the prediction. I think I went 3 in the end, so I wasn't as confident. But Charlie, for yourself, what did you make of those kind of opening few minutes? Again, as I said, Miyazawa had a couple of chances. Mallard had one as well before she got the goal in the end. But yeah, that kind of first few minutes starting on the front foot and attacking our end as well. Which, to be honest, me personally, I don't like. I always prefer it. Our team attacking us in the second half, but that wasn't the case. But yeah, what do you make of those kind of opening exchanges?
It was good. I think we looked like we were playing with real intent, real impetus to get forward and make things happen. And after the game at Paris, everyone's a bit down in the dumps, but I'm fairly certain Mark and I were like, nah, United are going to go and batter Everton now. It's going to be like await the sleeping dragon. But there was a little bit of me that was worried that there'd be a bit of a hangover from it. So that the first sort of 10 or so minutes, I think the goal was pretty soon after that, showed real intense. It was all us really. And Everton just couldn't really cope with sort of the attacking threat from the wings and also from our two attacking midfielders. But yeah, really, really good start, what we wanted to see.
No, for sure. And I got to be honest, the chanting back and forth between Everton, I mean, they were going through some like old 80s songs, they were, with some of the...
Sail away, sail away.
It was the knowing me, knowing you, Malard. It was that one. That one just cracked me up the whole game.
They kept doing
Enya.
the Dutch fan walk song as well. I don't know what the actual name is, but it's known obviously from the Dutch fan walk, just over and over and over.
I can't get that out of my head today. All playing work, like these drums going on in my head. It's been really getting to me. It's just ridiculously catchy. I won't say that I disliked it, but it's now dragging on a bit in my head.
It was quite something. So the back and forth between United and Everton fans was certainly quite... it was entertaining, that's for sure. And to be fair, we want a bit of that, don't we? So that was good to see as well. Mark, how did you kind of see the first half or kind of United's quick start, I guess?
Well, Charlie's right, because on the way out to the Parc des Princes on Wednesday, I did say to Charlie, I said I fear for Everton now on Sunday, because I think they're just going to get battered, because we've been certainly getting that performance together. So the first 15 minutes, we should have been out of sight after the first 15 minutes. I thought the movement was great, the passing was great. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it.
Certainly was enjoyable. There's a lot of obviously comments about various different players. We are going to dive into specifics and players and all those kinds of things in just a second. But Jess, for yourself, what was your kind of assessment on that United's quick start?
Yeah, I think overall it was just a really enjoyable game, to be honest. Pretty kind of clinical from start to finish. I think we started with good intensity and carried that on. When I saw the lineup come out, I was a little bit concerned. I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit more further down the line. But yeah, just pleasantly surprised, to be honest, with the outcome.
You're not wrong with that lineup. I remember Andrew was reading me the lineup as I was sorting stuff out of my car as we parked up. I was like, wait, so that again, there's no Walton, no Giles, also they're on the bench. No, they're not even on the bench. So what? What's going on? Yeah, obviously, then we found out like 20 minutes later or whatever.
It did scare me quite a bit. In fact, I literally just walked up to you, Connor, and you were like, have you seen the lineup? And I was like, no. And you read it to me, and I was very, very confused, to be honest.
It's the fact United didn't obviously announce that there was a sickness bug in the cat until kind of half an hour, 40 minutes or so after they put the lineup out of it. There was a big worry as to why a lot of players were missing. Obviously, we know that. Hopefully they are back after the international break. Sickness-free on that one. Charlie, I'm actually going to come to you first in this one because you got a nice little, I'm pretty sure you did, a nice little high five from the goal scorer on the first one, or a low five, however it was, because it wasn't quite in the air, was it? But even still. Obviously, Malard, you've been crying out for her to play down the middle. Obviously, we did see her. We will talk about her, obviously, as a number 9 in more detail. But the goal itself, obviously, fighting for the second ball. And I said you got a little handshake or a high five as she ran past you as well on that one. So all good on the goal, huh?
Yeah, she's just. I mean, you look at the 3 goals she's scored. They've been sort of poachers' goals and anticipating and being ready for something to happen and just being in the right place at the right time. And she's also not scared of a bit of a collision, because a couple of the chances she's had, the goalkeeper's been approaching as well, and a lot of players might sort of back out of those things and sort of shy away. But it was a good header back in from Maya. I think it was her assist. And then again, for me, any goal for United is a great goal. But I think that one really settled any nerves that there might have been. Because again, we know historically, never mind how maybe difficult the start of the season has been, the longer it takes us to score, the more of a worry it gets. So those things combined. So to get it nice and early was brilliant. And yeah, I just love her as a character as well. I can imagine she's good to work with. She's good on the training ground. But yeah, she's just wheeled away. And our friend Max, who we go to the football with, was on the receiving end of the initial high five, and she almost dislocated his shoulder, which she was crying about for the next 10 minutes. But just absolutely brilliant. And yeah, a really good goal just to settle the nerves. But I know we've talked before about her and said like her most productive season. I think Connor, it was you said for Lyon. Was it off the right or it was off one of the wings?
Off the left, yeah.
Off the left, wasn't it? But I just think for us, when you look at the options we've already got out wide, and you look at the sort of the work that Walton and Garcia and Parris can do offensively and defensively, they just will provide so many opportunities for her. And I just completely believe that she will always be in the right place at the right time. Which is, I think, what we've been missing for quite a while. Not necessarily just this season, but someone in the box waiting and ready for something to happen. So, yeah, good from her.
No, for sure. I mean, Mark, I'll come to yourself next to this one. Obviously, the goal itself, you beautifully caught it on video, which you did see Charlie's little high five, and Shane was trying to reach over as well. I saw him on the video.
We were trying to lift Shane up so he could reach over. He would have struggled otherwise.
But what did you make on that goal in particular? I said it's not. We haven't really seen it this season. That kind of fighting for the second balls. We've lost a lot of that kind of phase of play a lot. But again, Malard in the right place at the right time. It didn't back away. Keepers rushing towards her and obviously got something to it.
Yeah, she looks like an old-fashioned number 9, the kind of number 9 that doesn't mind getting hurt as long as they can score a goal. I've enjoyed watching her play. I think. Not so much when she's been coming off the wing. I think her best position is through the middle. But obviously, what do I know? I'm not a football manager. I'm a football fan. Her movement is great. When she can do things, she can manipulate the ball in the box, which is what I like. And she's brave and she'll stick her head where most people wouldn't stick a head. And the 2 goals, the one against Arsenal, where she gets in between the defenders, it's similar. She can find a space in between defenders, so I loved it.
No, for sure. And Barry, I'll come to obviously yourself on this one as well, and then Jess, just feel free to follow in, because it saves me just asking the question again, doesn't it? Really, 'cause it's the same question for each of you. But yeah, what do you make on the goal in particular? And again, just as Deborah said there, kind of that physical presence and not being, I guess, scared to go for that finishing touch.
Absolutely, and you got to credit May Letizia as well for that as well, because she was the one who put her head in first of all to get the ball up that came for Malard. And listen, Charlie said it the other day, Malard could be that person who goes up front and scores us the double digits. We're still waiting for that double digit a season striker. When we get them, that could make a bit of a difference. Could it be her? I think so, but it was like I say, just a good finish again. I mean, for the vast majority of these goals, you're going to look at the goalie. You would expect them to do better than that, to be a little bit stronger. But let's be honest, we really care. Ultimately, we wanted Malard to put it in the net, and that's exactly what she did. So, I think again, good cross in, good job from Letizia, and then brilliant for Malard to finish it off as well. She could have had one just a little bit earlier, I think, as well. Where she had a similar sort of moment, but Brosnan did get that one. So, yeah, good job. And Malard is a train, a duck. Yeah, brilliant. The Flying Dutchman. Brilliant.
I quite like that one. That's all right, that. Yeah, I thought she played really well. There were a couple of times when she kind of had the ball just around the outside of the box, and she kind of reminded me quite a bit of Jace with the way that the ball just kind of stuck to her feet. On a couple of occasions, I thought she'd overrun it or was going to lose control, and she kind of managed to carry on. But I think she is kind of the player that we've been looking for, like you say. She's got that kind of poacher striker instinct of just knowing where to be, really brave, doesn't kind of give up. And that's exactly what you want from a sort of number 9. So really just, I think she's started incredibly well for us, and just want to keep her kind of seeing her carry on and stick around a little bit longer, basically.
No, for sure. I mean, I will just pre-warn, my computer's lagging all over the place. So if I drop out, Barry's going to take over. I've not told him that. I'm telling him on here because it's glitching and doing all kinds of things. So I don't really know. But Sarah's saying, is there an option to buy her at the end of the season? I think there is. I think there is. So potentially we might see her if we need to make Champions League again. She's not going to come to us with no Champions League, I don't think. Or certainly in the top 3. So we need to finish there first. So yeah, potentially. Something that can be done on that one. I can see Mark's unmuted. I didn't know whether he was going to go for something there. That's fair enough. So, I mean, has anyone got anything to add on her overall performance? And obviously, talking about her as a number 9, as I said earlier, Charlie, something you've been saying that we should be utilising her more down the middle. As I said, her best position has come out wide. And when I did the player profile show on her, Abdullah was talking about her best position being out wide. But what have we made of her as a number 9? And I guess, should she be our starting number 9? Obviously, Jace was out, but she's going to come back in eventually. What would we be looking to do on that one? It's open to anyone and everyone.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said me. Sorry. I just think it works with her there at the moment. And I know there would be people that have followed her career more, and I'm just basing this on what I've seen from sort of a couple of hours of football. But she just provides that physical presence that, like I said, we've not had that anticipation, that player that can sort of have a bit of magic, but also score the scruffy goal, and she can hold up play. And it might be that someone like Jace is better off maybe not being the out-and-out striker, just because she's so desperate to be involved in play and come really deep. And when she does that, we then miss that presence in the box that we would like from her. So it might be that Jace ends up having a bit more of a free role, sort of in and around behind the striker, perhaps. I mean, that then raises questions about Tooney and her role and how they use Miyazawa. But I just think Malard, for us, in our side, in how we're playing, she's shown so much promise as the number 9. And I think when you have a player that's showing that much promise and is scoring goals, I think it's worth sort of sticking with that and seeing how it goes.
I think for me, with her, I would play her through the middle, because I think then whoever plays out on the wings, be it Keats or Lucia or Leah or even Jace, if they can get the ball into the box, I think she'll attack it. And I think that just gives us a different dimension. Last season, we had Leslie, who was out of the box more times than she was in it. And we need to, as we've always said, we need to up the goals inside the box. And I think Malard can do that if she plays through the middle.
Seems reasonable. As you can see, Connor, as the part-timer that he is, has ducked out. Oh, there it is again. That Malard. Yes, carrying on with the same. Sorry, Mark. Carrying on with the same conversation. Where would you put Malard? Because she's played pretty much all the way across the front 3 now. Which one would you pick if you were Mark Skinner?
I am really enjoying all the little duck jokes. I just want to say my sense of humour is that of like a 4-year-old. So this is right up my street. I think that her best position, or what I've seen so far, like Charlie said, we've only seen a couple of hours of her really. From what we've seen so far in this team, she slots in kind of best in that number 9 position. That's not to say that in future games, once she's integrated a little bit more, we can't see more of kind of like a fluid front 3, or even if it's just a case of, say, her and Jace both start and interchange for that number 9 role, if we stick with that sort of front 3 formation. I do think there's a lot of scope for sort of messing about a little bit with our attacking options. But I think she is the kind of player that we need. Last season we said it quite a lot, that often we were caught out going forwards because Russo would drop too deep and there'd be no one left in the box, or there wouldn't be a player there to kind of like hold the ball up. It is difficult to play in that kind of like isolated striker role, but she seems to just kind of nail it. She can like hold the ball up nicely. She can face up to defenders. She can run at defenders if she needs to. And like we kind of mentioned already, she's got that striker's instinct where she knows when to get into the box, when to drop out of the box to receive it. So far, I think her movement's been really good. She seems to work well with our existing players, and her and Jace do seem to have a really good link up. So it would be good to see more of them together, definitely.
Absolutely. Welcome back, Connor. Everybody's spoken about it. I've got really nothing to add to the situation, so all back to you, sir. You and your magnificent lot.
I hope I stick around here, because I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping it's not dying on me, because I have had this a few years now, this laptop, and I'm hoping it's not on its last legs, because it costs a fortune to repair these things. So I'm hoping not. Anyway, I've lost completely where I was going to go with the next question, to be honest. Who scored the second? Parris, wasn't it? Let's move on to her. Yeah, I guess it's obviously Charlie. Again, I'll come to yourself on this one. In terms of Parris's first goal,
Yep.
First, obviously, the couple and the assist as well. In terms of, obviously, that one in particular, it was Zalum's cross into her. And
Yep.
I guess, do you think that was needed to almost... I know you mentioned at the start, obviously, the first goal settled the nerves down, but you feel like this one just really kind of calmed it down? Because at 1-0, there's still a little, Everton were getting the odd chance. and there was always still that worry that we could drop points here. But obviously, getting that second, it did almost kill the game pretty much.
Yeah, it just turned the screw a little bit, didn't it? I'd gone in at 4-1. I wasn't backing us to keep a clean sheet. Actually, I feel bad now. One thing I will say is puts an end to the myth that we don't score goals from open play, and that Zelly only assists when it's a dead ball situation. False. So both of those things proven untrue. Yeah, a really good goal from her. Again, I think Barry said about the first goal, still poor keeping. Like, I think it was still poor goalkeeping. But Parris made the goalkeeper have to do something. I think it came across the box, didn't it? And she headed it back across goal. She beat her defender, who was a lot bigger than her. So again, it's a really well taken goal. And it sort of just really set the wheels turning, because if Everton were going to get anything from that game, they were going to have to come out a little bit. And I think they did do that. I don't think they tried to shut up shop, but them starting to come out a little bit and sort of force the issue, because they're struggling now. And they haven't been playing terribly. When we spoke to Peter from the Everton Women's Supporters Club, they've not been playing terribly, but you're still not winning, and they needed to get something from the game, and that then really worked in our favour, and it created gaps and it created pockets of space for our attackers to get into. But yeah, really well taken goal from Parris. Second one was better. I know we'll get to that, but yeah, it was the one that put the game to bed for us, really.
Yeah, Mark, obviously I'll throw it over to yourself, and then Barry, just feel free, follow in on this one, because again, it's the same question I'm going to ask. Obviously, just talk us through that goal, and again, as Charlie said there's always this talk that Zellum only assists from set plays and all these kinds of things, but again, it's a pinpoint cross. It's exactly where Parris would have wanted it, and to be honest, it's not something we see a lot of our players doing, that kind of cross from that position. I always, and I hate saying this, but I call it the Kevin De Bruyne position, that kind of just on the right channel, just on the edge of the box, that kind of whip ball to the far post, and something that we really only Zellum in our team seems to do at the moment. Yeah,
look, at some point people will start to give Zelly the credit she deserves. She's not just a dead ball specialist. I think she's probably one of the best passers of a ball, be it dead ball or whatever, that I've seen. Yeah, sometimes she gets caught in possession, but more times than not, she sees the pass. The ball to Keats was great, and Keats took the goal well. And I like Keats. I think she came to United after having a bad season at Arsenal with a lot to prove, and I think she's not only proven people wrong, I think she's making those people who doubted her actually now look back and go, actually, maybe we were wrong instead. The goal, it was, the ball from Zelly's great. Like you said, Connor, it was exactly where Keats would have wanted it. The goalkeeping, though, from the Everton point of view, it was poor. The goalkeeper should have saved it. I don't care what anyone tells me. I've watched it back a couple of times, and the keeper should have saved it, but never look a gift horse in the mouth.
Absolutely not. And it's interesting because John's just said you call it the De Bruyne position, I call it the Beckham position, and that's what I was going to say. Is that actually I've just watched the end of the third episode of the Beckham documentary on Netflix. It's half term now. I finally had mine, Charlie. I think I had to go to work today.
Boo. Yeah.
I didn't. So I've had a nice day. Watched a bit of the Beckham documentary, and it's just blinking wonderful. Watching how good he was on that ball. He wasn't one to be really doing all the tricks and all that sort of stuff, but what he had on him was an absolute wonder of a right foot. And Zellum's got that as well. She's just got that ability to pick out a pass and to set us up more so, I think, than any other player in our team. So it really irks me when people just have a go and say that's all she does, as if setting up goals is not what everybody's trying to do on a football pitch. I wish we had more people that were trying to set up goals. It's a ridiculous thing to say, oh, that's all she does is set up goals. Yeah, that's literally all you need to win games, though, isn't it? So that's my Zellum point out of the way. I said before, absolutely should have been saved. The goalkeeper's had an absolute shocker. Even the fifth one, really, potentially she could have done better. So I'll be amazed if she's in goal for Everton in the next game. But all you want from your people up front is to get that ball and put it on target. As long as they're doing that, that's pretty much the most you can ask for. So I think the fact that she did that, she put it at the right angle, she made it hard for her. She does get around to it. She does try and push it away. Thankfully, just pushes it into the side netting, and that's 2-0 for us. But yeah, brilliant assist, excellent work from Parris, and I totally agree with Mark. You know, I've had my share of run-ins with people who wanted to have a go at Nikita Parris before she even kicked a football back here in England for United, all based on one poor season with an Arsenal side that didn't want to play her because it didn't fit into the way the manager wanted to play. We've done that. We've played her. And you can call it a revival, you can call it what you like, but she's definitely proven people wrong. So absolutely delighted with Parris and the fact she scored there, and just goes to show she's always popping up with these sorts of goals as well. So good job, Nikita. Well played, you.
Just quickly, just before you over your sell on that one, someone you just brought up actually, which I was going to bring up at some point, but you've kind of segued me in a little bit. Obviously, what you were saying there about, obviously just the players getting it on target, and obviously, then it's down to the keeper. At least you're forcing the keeper to make a save. I did a bit of maths. Charlie will like this one. I said to her backstage on this one. So against Leicester, our shots put or whatever, I don't know how the phrase is, but shots to shots on target. So it was 16 and 8, 16 shots, 8 on target. It's 50% against Leicester. It was 16 shots, 11 on target. And this one's at 68.75%. So it's increased a lot more in this one. So we had a lot more shots on target than we did against Leicester and against PSG, and I think against Arsenal. I didn't go about that far. I did the last couple. So from that point of view, as you said, obviously, yes, for me, the keeper's got to save it as well. But at least we're making the keeper work this time rather than shots going wide and over the bar and all those kinds of things. Sorry, Jess, continue.
Yeah, I mean, with football, you want to give the keeper something to try and save, basically. That is the whole point. You've got to get the ball on target. You never even... Well, you're obviously not going to score if you can't get it on target. So that is literally, step one. The keeper obviously should do better for a couple of those goals, but she didn't. So, there we go. But I think the build-up play to Parris's goal, the first one, really good. I think Parris overall, her game was fantastic. Probably one of the best games I've seen her have in a United shirt, to be honest. I think she really has played well for us. And like Zellum, probably doesn't get some of the credit that she kind of deserves. Which leads me into Zellum's assist. For me, what was kind of so good about it was just the touch and pass. Basically, it's not only the ability to make that pass, but it's the awareness you've got to have for not only your players, but the opposition players. So she's got to kind of predict the runs of all her teammates and where the defenders are going to be, who's going to be most likely to kind of finish that one off. And an absolutely inch-perfect pass, all kind of happening at game speed. So, the people that say, she's just hit and hope, smacked it, got another assist. Yeah, she's not that good. I don't think they understand football, to be honest. Because I think if you understand football, then what she does is, the most important part, really, of the team. Someone's got to give the striker the ball for them to score. And that's what she does incredibly well. So I think, both Parris's goals were really good, to be honest. She had really good awareness, really good positioning, and for her to kind of put a body on the line, especially for that last one, really just kind of icing on the cake for her, an overall good performance.
It's obviously, we're going to continue talking about Parris. Obviously, she was involved in the third goal as well, Williams' first one. But very quickly, the player of the match poll is in the chat. If you haven't seen it, I forgot to mention it earlier on. It's been in the chat for about 20 minutes now. I just forgot to mention it when I put it in there. She got a choice. It's pretty close between the top two, actually, between Riviere and Parris, but Williams and Malard are also on that poll as well. So you can vote for any one of those four, or if you don't agree, you can come to us at the end and say that there's somebody else that should be on that list. But it's looking like a 2-horse race out front with Parris and Riviere at the moment. So we'll see on that one who comes out on top. Charlie, speaking of this third goal, this was I can just see Mark in the chat. Are you quite happy, Mark, by the way, Mark? You're Mark 1 and Mark Skinner's Mark 2. You're on mute, Mark.
The Mark 1 and the Mark 2 bit, I've got no issue with. The Martin bit, I've got a problem with. I'm going to leave it at that. I will have words with Frank and Bruce, and we'll get it all sorted out.
To be fair, I get called all kinds of things at games, so who? Yeah.
Look, I was
that wasn't it once. Talk to Frank.
Anyway, I'm not going there now.
But yes, Charlie, the third goal. Obviously, Parris wins it. Is it? No, is it? I'm trying to think which way around it is now.
No, yeah,
it is this way around, isn't it? The third one, yeah. So the third one, obviously, Parris wins it back. And this was the really weird one for us. Obviously, they were at the game because nobody reacted. Players, like coaches, fans, everyone just kind of just didn't really know what had happened, and then it's just like we saw all the players run towards each other, and the ref obviously pointing to the centre circle. So obviously, but when you watch it back again, we're talking about Parris, her work rate to win it back. You know, she's behind the defender, wins it back, and there's your old mate Rachel Williams in the middle, and again getting another goal on the score sheet.
Yeah, that was obviously she scored 2 goals, but the work rate of Parris, the desire to get back and regain possession of that ball was probably, for me, the highlight of her performance, because I think it epitomises who she's been as a player her entire career. Just never stops working, just digs in and just keeps going. But yeah, really, really well taken. I think cross from her. And again, Williams, as we expect, so we've taken off one really good goal scorer, Malard, and Williams has come on and she pops up in the right place at the right time. But yeah, it was really strange. It seems to trickle over the line, I think. Even when you watch the highlights back, you can't completely see it because the FA player is atrocious and you only get one camera angle. So for your replays, you get that camera angle 5 different times, but different speeds is what you get. But yeah, really good. No reaction from anyone, to the point where I saw that it was in the net, but no one was doing anything. So I was looking for like an offside flag or anything really. And then the referee wasn't really signalling clearly either as to what, no surprise there, as to what had happened. But yeah, no surprise that Rachel Williams scores a goal like that. And I think her second goal as well is also what you'd expect of Williams, isn't it? Just overpowering the defender and heading in at the far post. Really similar to the second one, actually. I think someone said that. The second and the fourth goals were really, really similar. But yeah, again, really nice when you think the sort of attacking lineup was a little bit depleted anyway, without Walton and Jace. And then some people might argue playing a slightly weakened attacking 3. To then have those two, Rachel Williams then come on and still continue to score another goal. She's just amazing. I think on Twitter I said she's like a cheat code. Like, just unbelievable. And I really hope United keep her on. Not necessarily as a player, because she reckons she's had enough after this year, but I think she'd be an incredible offensive coach, attacking coach. You look at the job like Benny McCarthy did on Rashford last year. I feel like she'd be an incredible addition to the coaching staff, and just sort of like a link to sort of that hard work that sort of female footballers had to go through. But yeah, no surprise. It's just every game she plays, she scores, doesn't she? It's just a rite of passage.
I think me and somebody else were talking about this the other day, actually. Williams is one of the last of that era, that had to obviously pay to play back before it went fully professional and all those kind of things. There's not many players of that era left now, when you're talking of that kind of group. So, yeah, Williams has gone through it. I think it shows on isn't she our joint top scorer this season with Malard with 3 in all comps? I'm pretty sure she isn't. She's got to be. So, again, just shows you don't need to have all the minutes in the world. It's what you do within those when you get those opportunities, and she's certainly taking them. Obviously, we're going to get to the fourth one as well, because that was a brilliant assist by Jade on that one. Just very quickly, do you want to clear up this rumour that she rejected some of your Katie who were passing around at full? Well, you were passing at half time, to be fair.
Just to put this out there, I didn't offer her the cake, and that was not me being rude. Somebody else offered her the cake, and she very politely declined. I'm assuming because half of the team had the runs. Yeah, so you cannot risk that.
I'm not being funny. I can't imagine any person just taking cake from a random stranger off the.
Well, I also think that.
Like, if somebody offered that to me, I'd be like, no thanks, cheers.
You didn't see it, right? How good was it?
It was massive. It was like.
I never got.
How beautiful it
right,
is.
can I just say, Jess?
I don't even have cake when the primary school kids make it.
Right, Jess, there were 2 bits left, right? And even before we got to 2 bits left, there were like 10 bits left, and I've done my left-hand side, and I'm sure I said to 2 or 3 people, is Jess there? I think that's Jess. Did you have a cap on?
No, I did not.
You didn't have a cap on. Well, there's a girl, I thought it was you. I said, does Jess want any cake? Someone asked Jess. And it didn't happen.
No, it's fine.
Are you coming to Brighton away to the graveyard shift?
I am not, unfortunately. Oh. I'm going to give that one a swerve. I can't find anyone to look after my dog, and I can't really just leave him in the house for an entire day, because that would be my whole day and night gone getting down to Brighton. So the next home game, I'm going to wait for some.
What we'll do, Sport, if we win the FCA, Charlotte's going to make cake for everyone who watches the channel.
I didn't make the cake.
She didn't make it. Whoa. She didn't make it.
Oh, didn't you?
Made
I
it.
thought you made it.
Just go to
someone
the
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that common. Someone I know made it and then gave it to me.
And everyone who ate a piece has now got type 2 diabetes. It was like eating a brick. It was that
It was
thick.
amazing.
It was like that.
I even bought serviettes.
TJ's right. You would have needed a knife and fork for this because it was proper.
TJ, I don't mind a fork being used for a cake. I can live with that, depending on the cake. But this idea of using a knife as well, just to cut it in slices.
No, it was needed for this one. If you just Charlie will take a picture and we'll put it on Twitter or something. I don't know, but it was proper thick on this. So yeah, we'll get it sent out or something. I don't know. I was going a bit further off. I just wanted to quickly get to because I find it quite funny. Yeah, only Williams could do that. Did Ronaldo ever score at start? I don't even think he did. I'm trying to think if he did now. I don't think he did.
No.
There you go.
No.
Exactly. Williams over Ronaldo any day of the week. Just very quickly before we move on from Cake Gate, it was all kinds, wasn't it? It had literally everything.
It was Mars bar-ish, wasn't it?
Because there was like a Rice Krispie bit on it, there was a caramel bit on it, there was all kinds of
yeah. Evie just came to the door there, which put me off. I was trying to talk to her behind my hand, and then I got distracted. Yeah, it was Mars. She's smeared raspberry on my bed. That's what she told me, and after gone. At least she's honest, if nothing else. It was Mars crispy cake, and I'll send Connor a picture so we can pop it on the old Twitter, and you can all look at the cake I did not bake.
I don't think this will be a topic of conversation on the show. I've got to be honest. There we are.
We travel well and we eat well.
Oh.
Indeed, the joys of an away end at United women. This is what you get. You're never going to let this go, are you? I don't look like him. I don't know where this started. Well, I know exactly where it started, but I don't know why. But yes, I got sent off for the weekend apparently. So
Burnley.
Indeed.
I mean, I asked you about it. You told me you touched it quick, and we can't be having that.
No, exactly.
Nobody touches my hair apart from me. I can't be any. When people are like, no. Can't be doing that. So don't be getting any ideas, everyone on the panel. If you see me at Brighton away, don't be doing that.
Hang on. Can we have a caveat?
You've invited it now.
Can we do it if we win the league? I think that's fair.
I think that's fair.
Give him a little monkey scrub.
For a minute there, I was wondering what was going to come out of your mouth, Charlie.
What did you guys call it? We call that a monkey scrub.
A noggin? What was it like? Something like a
head noggin.
Yeah.
A what?
Like
we're normal, Charlie. We don't have a head noggin.
A head noggin?
Yeah.
That's what we call it as
You've
well.
just basically said, because noggin is another word for head, so you've just said head.
Yeah. We're northern.
It's a head.
Yeah.
It's what you're talking about. I think we call it a nuggie.
Yes.
That was it. Yes.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes, now
That wasn't that like my area as well, I think.
That's quite clever, though. I like that. Yeah. Oh, there's all kinds of puns. Now, Dave's loving this. He spends too much time watching Barry, I think, because he comes up with all kinds of words in the chats now. I can't even. Did everyone have their say on the Williams goal? I can't even remember where we got.
Yeah.
No,
Rachel Williams now. I would just like to mention Rachel Williams because I love her. Yeah, it was just really good, wasn't it? And I just love that goal where none of us realised she scored. I think it's genuinely because she's like a robot. Like Mark Skinner says, right, go on and score. So she scores and then she just walks off because she's like, well, I've just done what he said. Do you know what I mean? Like, no big deal. He told me to come on and score, so I've scored. Now let's carry on. I genuinely think that she is just from another planet. She's just that good.
I mean, I've got a slightly different take on the goal insofar as I think it's got very little to do with Rachel Williams. I think it's all more to do with Nikita Parris on that goal. She does all the hard work. She goes off, wins it back, puts the ball across. Rachel Williams looks like she hits it with her knee. And again, the goalkeeper should save it. In fact, the goalkeeper does save it. And then miraculously, it seems to exit her body, like traveling through her body and then just bouncing up in the air. I mean, it ends up in the top corner, Connor. which I can't. I've watched it back now about 7 times. I don't know. There's some sort of witchcraft. I think Emma Watson was in the crowd, and she's just sort of done like, you know, when Harry was falling off his broomstick and they all set light to Professor Snape. I think that's what she did. And then boom, in it went. So really good goal. But yeah, it never should have been a goal in a million years because it was a terrible connection for Rachel Williams. But she did what I just said, which is to get it on target. So fair play to her for doing that. She just seems to be in the right place at the right time all the time.
When you look back at the goal, and I've looked back like everyone else has, and I still can't work out what's happened. And the FA player should have more than one angle in that ground because they've got the capabilities of possibly doing it.
There's a rumour they did have a second angle, but somebody's hair was right in the way and they just couldn't.
We were at the far end. We were at the other end, Barry. They could have a camera over the fence.
Oh, that's spoil the gag, Mark. Spoil the gag.
You know what? Do you know, if you're like whoever, you know, if you're like playing Everton, like if you're one of the analysts who goes and like watches videos of like your opposition, if you're playing Everton next, you're going, right, guys, like bringing the strikers in. So I've had a look, and the best way to score against Everton is to literally kick it right at the goalkeeper, because every time you do that, she lets it in. Like it was weird, wasn't it?
It was. You know, when you look back at Rachel, she's played, you know, her goals to minute ratio, I would love to know for this season, because she comes on, as Jess said, and she scores a goal. It's an automatic thing. It seems like what she loves to do. I love Rach. I really do. And I hope she stays in the club because she's that positive influence that I like to see around players.
Rachel Williams has only played 96 minutes apparently in the WSL, and she's scored 3 already. So she's averaging a goal every just over half an hour at the moment, which has got to be right up there in the best in the league. Well, it probably is, because I don't know anyone else who's got a better ratio than that. Yeah. So indeed, hopefully that continues on that one. Yeah, there's a lot of talk obviously about the Everton keeper Brosnan. I'm surprised it was her, to be honest. I'm surprised that it wasn't Ramsey, because she could have played. She's not like loan tied anymore or any of that. So I'm surprised that it wasn't her.
Well, she didn't play against Liverpool either, did she?
No. So I'm not. You always wake up and choose violence, you. Especially in your Twitter. But yes, Ginsberg is not having a great time over at Arsenal. It's either is she. So yeah. See what I mean? Going on about Russo now. Literally. Terrible you are. Fourth goal then. Obviously this was a Riviere cross. Pretty good cross as well. And again, I kind of incorporate Riviere's performance into this because obviously she is on the player of the match poll for a reason. Charlie, for this one, obviously again another looped ball in. Again, obviously we've spoken about Williams. What did you make of Riviere, and I guess across the whole game, also that in that goal in particular?
I think since a few games ago, since that home game against PSG, I think she's really grown into that starting role. I think she's been thrown at the deep end. I think if Gabby George hadn't had that horrendous injury, I wonder whether Jade would be starting at all. I think the thing with her is, which I hadn't realised when I was getting frustrated when that home leg against PSG was, someone said to me, it might even been you again, Mark, you always have the pleasure of standing near me, I think, that this is like her first proper professional like club. We've got basically from college, we've got a kid from college, and we've thrown her in at the deep end. I think she's been brilliant. Now I don't want to overegg this. I'm not saying she's anywhere near being on a par, but there were odd glimpses in that Everton game where she did things that aren't as good as, obviously, because no one will ever be, I don't think, but that are a bit Honor-esque. Just a couple of times when she was attacking with the ball and she was beating one or two players and she was cutting inside and creating space for the more wide attackers, the forwards. Just looked really good. I think there's still a little bit of work to be done on her with her defensively, but I've even seen an improvement of that over a few games, so I can see why they've got her in. And she is so young and there is so much room for improvement, and we're seeing it already. And if she carries on at the rate she is, that's going to be amazing for us. But yeah, really impressed with her. Really pleased that she won Player of the Match on the Supporters Club socials. She won player of the match there, and glad she's in the poll today. But great from her. Another really good delivery, and she made 2 or 3 really good deliveries in that game, and unfortunately people couldn't always get on the end of them and stick it away. But again, a really good delivery from her. Put it on a sixpence, like it was as good as a cross as Ellen would do. Got it right to where Rachel Williams would want it to be. And again, that header from Rachel was similar to the one that she did against Villa, when Domaslar, who isn't looking so superstarish now, travelled to the back post, and she just sent it back across into the far corner. But yeah, brilliant assist, brilliant game from Jade all round. I think you said we were right to talk about that. I think you said, didn't you, mention her overall performance? She was just brilliant, I think. And just got to hope she stays fit. But yeah, another well-taken goal by Rachel Williams, exactly what you'd expect. And that was it. The floodgates were open, weren't they? And we sort of put them to the sword, which I like, because we've not been scoring many. So I think to go and get 4 of them from the dreaded open play, I think is a great thing for us.
I think you only have to look at when Honor first came in. She wasn't the finished article, obviously, that we've seen. I still don't think she's a finished article. I think Honor will continue to get better, but she's not the superstar that we've now seen, obviously, going to Barcelona when she came to us. So I think you've got to look at Jade in that respect, in terms of let's judge her in a year, 2 years' time, when she's had a full season.
There's that comment I think Big Bad Mike's put up about that she's getting better. It's just maybe the physicality, which you can understand that's probably going to be the biggest barrier to her, just because she's so young and she's not really played professional club football before. But I think that will come over time. Just need to beef her up a bit, don't they? Just get them all to be barging her around in training, get her used to it. But yeah, really good performance overall.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, again, for yourself, what do you make on her performance, and obviously the 4th goal as well, if obviously we want to incorporate that. But Jade overall, there's a lot of people saying defensively maybe there's not there. There was a comment that I just brought on screen saying there about obviously defensively, Leticia did have a couple of occasions where she got beat on that side because Jade was so far up the pitch. I think I said to Jess, no, it wasn't Jess, sorry, it wasn't you, Jess, it was Andrew in the first half. I said to her, it's like Jade wasn't really back. It was almost like a back 3 for the most part, because Jade was almost like playing as a right winger at times. So obviously there's that side of her game, but what do you make of her, I guess, performance overall and the assist for that 4th goal?
When you consider that last season she had 4 minutes, just 4 minutes of WSL action for us, and now she's already had the whole game against Everton. She played basically the whole game against Leicester. She came on, she started against PSG at home. I think you can see the improvement game by game with her, and she's growing into that position. Do I think she's going to be, as good as Honor? As you said, Connor, Honor wasn't the finished article, and I still think there's a lot to come from Jade. I really do. My only worry with Jade is she gets injured a lot. And yesterday she went down at one point, and there was a groan from around us all when she went down. And I think that's my only concern is keeping her fit. If we keep her fit, I've got no issues. Positionally, I think she'll get better and better. She'll get used to the players. There's one thing playing in training, in matches in training, but there's another thing playing in actual games. So I think she'll get better and better each game. It's just my only snagging issue with her is keeping her fit, and that's my only issue. But you can see the improvement game upon game upon game upon game.
Do you think as well, sorry to jump in, like a couple of people have just said in the comments, I'm looking at my screen, about maybe positioning is a little bit of an issue and getting caught up field. I think the approach was for her to be higher up the pitch, and Hannah then often slotted in as like a third centre-back, was more inverted. But I think also with Jade, the benefit of this game as well, which has helped her out, is that she's had a forward in front of her that's also worked really hard defensively as well, because I think it will be hard for any left back positionally when they're potentially being double teamed, which is what happened a fair bit in the last couple of games she played, because Malard was playing on the wing and she just wasn't tracking back. So it just maybe perhaps that when Jade plays there against certain opposition, maybe less so against Everton, because she was saying so high up, but against other teams, that's perhaps where we would always look to have a Parris or a Garcia in front of her, who's going to offer that extra layer of protection perhaps.
I was literally just about to mention, obviously, when we talk about tracking back, she did have Parris on that side, obviously, to help tracking back. And, as Arcee saying there, we had it last season where, obviously, Honor's just world class anyway, so she can develop a relationship with anyone, but she played alongside Letitia for the whole season, pretty much. And on the right hand side, it was mainly Parris or Garcia, on that right hand side, so it was pretty consistent. With Jade, as we've said, she's just coming into the side. She's only just learning playing with Letitia. She's had a change midfield around her. We've had, Zellum playing with so many different combinations, and that right hand side has been Malard, it's been Jade, it's been Garcia, it's been Parris. Like, we've seen so many as well, so she's not been able to develop those relationships as well.
And as Charlie said, she's only 22. Her age is got to be involved in this as well.
See, that still classes as young on mine and Jess's little radar thing that we made a few weeks ago on these shows. That's still in the young category to me on that one. So plenty of time.
Young to me as well, Connor. Young to me as well.
Well, it's just football young is what we'll say on that one.
I feel old when I go and watch the 18s.
To be fair, I'd feel old going and watching the 18s because they're born like 2000 onwards. Like, no, can't be having that. What? Not quite. When you start reaching your late 20s, that's getting into old category for players for me.
I wish you wouldn't say that.
That's horrendous. People bought no. There we are. Barry, Jess, anything to add on Jade and I guess obviously that fourth goal, the cross again on a left foot as well. It's not something that we're used to seeing from her.
I can't really claim to have seen too much of what Jade did when I watched the match, to be honest with you, because I haven't seen the whole 90 minutes. So there you go. Spoiler alert on that one. So I'm going to leave it to you to have given the plaudits of Jade. I think I'll just go from a slightly different point of view, which is that ultimately you've got to support these players whatever happens, because they're the players that we've got. You're not going to get rid of any of them until January at the very, very earliest. So the job is to get behind them, and that's exactly what we should be doing. People are always going to keep on looking back to the time with Honor, but Honor's gone. She doesn't exist anymore as far as we're concerned. She's not a Man United player. Lovely having her. Honor's a goner, so we're not worried about that. And we've got to worry about Jade because she stayed. So that's what we're after here. So yeah, for me, we'll give her a bit of support, stick with her, and hopefully she'll be as in place as your hair over the course of the next season. But again, just nipping back to what she did for the goal, it was a brilliant assist, absolutely brilliant. Williams, excellent header, superb. Again, straight at the goalkeeper. Honestly, just atrocious. I mean, if she was being James Bond, she wouldn't save the world, let alone the ball. It's just not happening, is it? So, yeah, it's not great for her. So there we go. Yeah, that's really all I've got to say. Jess, tell us more, because you clearly know more on this subject than I do.
I don't know if I can actually follow on from that. I think it was just an impressive little monologue, to be honest. No, I think Jade's done fantastic. She really has been thrown in at the deep end, like we've all kind of said before. It's not been easy for her. It's hard coming into that position, new to the league, not really played any professional football, had a ton of different players around you. But putting a performance like she did yesterday, which was pretty top notch. If you're being critical, you can kind of mention some of her defensive positioning, some of her decision making, but that's all going to come with time. From what I saw yesterday, there's nothing to be concerned about at all. And the cross she put in was very similar to Zellum's, really, very Zellum-esque. And if she can kind of put balls in like that, then we've really got some player on our hands there.
No, definitely.
I'm entirely sure what Jake's chatting out there, Connor. But all I will say is if I said what was really on my mind, Connor had sacked me. So, I'm just behaving like Connor asked me to on his show at the minute, because there's a couple of comments that I'm ready to come out fighting.
Yeah, there's been some interesting takes in the chat tonight, that's for sure.
I'm saying do it. Can I do it?
I'd rather I don't want to derail the conversation, to be fair, because we've just won 5-0. I don't want to go down another.
Oh, exactly.
That's what I mean.
But never mind. Go on. Goal number 4 was a rather good goal, wasn't it, Connor?
We're on to number 5 now. There's plenty of goals to get through here. Goal number 5, then. It's been a while since we've had 5 goals to talk about. Even at the back end of last season, we didn't have this many to talk about, so I'm quite enjoying this. Number 5, and obviously Parris is second. There was a lot involved in this one. Obviously, Guerrero with the assist. I want to incorporate her into this conversation as well because I thought her cameo was pretty good. Obviously, the celebrations. Parris went down. Garcia picked her up, dropped her, stood on Millie Turner's foot. She went down. Like there was all kinds of things going on in the celebrations after the goal. But Charlie, what do you make of that one? Also, Guerrero's kind of, I guess, involvement. She didn't have long. Obviously, people have been crying out for her to get minutes. We finally saw her. And to be honest, I'm starting to see why we've been crying out for her because she wasn't on for long. But what she did do in those 10, 15 minutes, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. You don't I think we said last time, you don't accidentally trip over and end up in the Spanish women's national side and get minutes when you play midfield because they're absolutely stacked there. Like it's unbelievable the quality they've got in the part of the Spanish women's national team. So it was exciting because we've been sort of desperate to see her, but not really sure what we were going to get. Like she was obviously going to be a good footballer, but we've not seen her play for us. And I think we've seen in the past with the men's side as well, lots of players can come to United with sort of lots of plaudits and good qualities, and they sort of shrink in the shirt. But she was brilliant. I think one of the first things, I'm sure she did a pre-assist, which I hate as a thing, because they like all the pre-assist, and it gets ridiculous. And Mary Earps is doing all the assists then, isn't she? But I'm sure she did a pre-assist for the 4th goal, I think, was involved in that as well. But what a well-taken assist, and quite difficult, I think, and sort of the perfect weight on the ball as well. Just one touch, send it over past the defenders and perfectly placed for Parris, who was really brave, I think, against the onrushing Clumsatron that was Brosnan. But yeah, she's exciting, I think. I believe when she first came, she'd had a bit of a knock, and that's why she didn't start absolutely straight away. And I know lots of people getting answered that we wouldn't see her, me included. I don't know why. But yeah, she was absolutely amazing, and what a brilliant addition. And again, I think when we're playing teams that are going to maybe sit back a little more and be less attacking, to have someone like her alongside Zellum, like she looked like a proper box-to-box midfielder, didn't she? And she was quick as well. She's also massive. Anyone that was there, she's huge. Like she's a lot bigger than you're expecting. So again, another real physical presence in the middle of the park. Because probably the one thing Katie struggles with a little bit is physicality. So to have someone alongside her with the skill set of Guerrero, that would be quite a good mix, I think. But yeah, brilliant from her, lovely assist, and another really well taken goal from Parris.
That's the 2 in midfield I've been wanting to see. Those two, Guerrero, and it's something we debated it on this channel pre-season that who was going to play alongside Katie. And I hope we see him. I think there was a comment about half an hour ago talking about maybe she's getting the kind of Miyazawa treatment, just bedding her in 10 minutes, maybe it'll be about half an hour against Brighton, and then we might see her kind of getting the starts that if she keeps performing, that is. Anyway, on that one, Mark, for yourself, what do you make on the 5th goal? Obviously Guerrero coming on, and like I said, those 10 kind of 15-minute cameo that she had towards the end as well.
Yeah, look, like everyone else, I wanted to see what Guerrero could do. I'm not going to call her Irene because, it's Irene. I'm Northern. It's Irene or it's Guerrero. It's one or the other. I wanted to see how she came on and played, and I was impressed from the start. I actually think for the first time in a while, Mark might have a bit of a problem trying to work out his best midfield now, because I thought Narsland, she played well in bits against PSG, both legs. I think with Hayley Ladd as well, we always know what we're going to get from Hayley Ladd, and now we're going to throw Guerrero into the mix as well with that. So I think that number 8 position, or defensive midfield position, is going to be a tough one for Mark to sort out. The ball through for the 5th goal was brilliant. But you've got to look at it from an Everton point of view. They were well beaten by that point, but still, the ball through was brilliant, and it was a brilliant finish. So, all in all, it was a good day. No,
it certainly was on that one. And again, Barry Jess, so if you want to Have your thoughts on this one, obviously, and this coming, saying it's something we've been saying for a few weeks. Maybe this, I've said it for a while as well. I think Zalem will benefit having someone like Guerrero next to her, who can carry the ball forward. Zalem can be that kind of deeper playmaker that we know that she can do as well, and Guerrero can be that energy in midfield, the kind of box to box that we did see. Granted, it's against a tired Everton that's 3-0 down, but again, we saw it throughout the World Cup. We know that's what she can do. So, yeah, what do you make on her and the kind of last, I guess, 15 minutes and the fifth goal in particular?
Go on, Jess, you go first.
Thank you very much. I thought that when she came on, she just sort of fitted right in. In some ways, I almost kind of didn't notice that there'd been in changes, which is a good thing. When she was on the ball, she just slotted right in with the players already on the pitch. I thought she was really positive about the way she played. She did look to progress the ball forward. And her assist was really well deserved, from her kind of shortish cameo. It was a really, really good ball she put forward there for Parris. Shame Parris got absolutely clattered by the world's clumsiest keeper, but that's just part of the risk, I think, when you go in on a 1v1. So, yeah, just a little side note for Parris. Really, really brave of her to kind of go in for that one. So really happy that she got the goal out of it. But the assist was absolutely perfect, to see the way the Leicester defence were kind of splitting and to put the ball in with the kind of exact weight and exact positioning for Parris. It was more indicative of a player that's been around for a lot longer, not someone that's kind of having their first couple of minutes for United.
Where have I gone?
Oh, you've taken Mark out of the stream now. What are you doing? What are you?
What have I done to you? I'm always nice to you, Barry. You're kicking me out. What's going on here? I thought we were supposed to be brothers. That's it. I want a divorce. You're on mute now. Don't make it
What my screen has just done, honestly, it was like something out of a Pablo Picasso. It went small, it went big, then it was all in one line. And then when I thought I was clicking the button to unmute, Mark was gone. I'm like, wow, that was mad. Probably more entertaining than anything I've got to say. That was unbelievable. Sorry about that, Mark. I think that the fifth goal for me, I don't understand why the goalkeeper came out. She didn't need to. There was, defenders coming back. I think that was a really bad idea. So
there's a lot we don't understand about that keeper. She made some questionable decisions, let's say.
She really did. I mean, it's quite sad when there is absolutely not a goal really that should have stood in terms of if the goalkeeper had been on the ball. But what was really good to see was, again, Guerrero putting the ball through. Skinner had said right from the very beginning that she was going to get time. She just needed to be a bit more ready. And we were a bit worried, was this a bit like the VBR sort of excuse? I don't think it will be, because it seems very obviously that Irene, IG, Instagram, whatever we're calling her, is able to perform. And as soon as she does, I'm sure she will take that slot next to Katie Zellerman. I think the two of them will perform absolutely brilliantly. So, yeah, I just thought it was really good. The finish from Parris, absolutely brilliant. Over the top of the goalkeeper, absolutely superb. So, yeah, absolutely delighted with that.
No, indeed, certainly. A lot of positivity to say on that one as well. And like I said, the celebrations just kind of summed it up, really, with everyone going down. I was a bit worried that there was going to be a few injuries in there on that one.
Can I just say, when Keats went down in the fifth goal, when we were talking to her at the end of the game, she actually said she went down with cramp.
That makes sense then. So I think I said to Jess, I felt a bit sorry for Nars because I didn't see Parris walking off, and I was like, "Why are we bringing Nars? Like, that's such a waste of us. Like, just why? Like, for 30 seconds or whatever was left of the game at that point." Obviously, then I saw Parris walking around, so it made sense then to. Well, there's some pronunciations there. Marks. See, what? That's the English way of saying it. The Spanish way is Irene. So.
I'm just stuck on Irene.
Yeah. Connor, I live in Manchester. I don't live in Spain. It's Irene. That's it.
It's like the whole. It's like the nanny and nanny thing again, isn't it? And just all those
Nanny.
all the different ways.
Carries on balls like that, we're going to be calling her goat, so I won't worry about anything else.
Actually, I'm going to start calling her what Charlie calls her, Tank.
I'm sure that's what she calls her, because I heard that she called her, "Oh, do you want some cake?"
United, honestly, United are massive now. Like a lot of shoulders, a lot of big shoulders cruising around. Oh, they're huge.
Oh, I love that for them. Been hitting the gym, getting on those protein shakes. We
Just
love
got
that.
massive traps.
Yeah,
That's all we've got
for them.
Oh dear, it certainly does. We've got some tanks in the team now, as Charlie would say, and that would be a midfield. So with Lisa and Irene, that one. There's a question for you here, Charlie.
No, Maya Letizia is the fridge. She is the fridge. The rest of them are just tanks. Yeah.
They run fire after an item in
That's a
curries
compliment.
from the army surplus store. It's unbelievable.
We've got them all here. Oh, Rachel got that after the first minute she played, I think. In the United shirt. It's an interesting shout. So, Paris, there we go. This is something we might discuss later on in the week, actually, on that one, which I'll come to at the end as to what we're doing later on in the week. The kind of last question I had there in terms of, I don't know what's going on.
It's correct, absolutely correct. Connor, you know the sport that you claim to like, American football.
Yeah.
There's a guy who used to play for the Chicago Bears called William Perry, and he was called the Fridge. Google a picture of him, and you'll understand why.
I'll have to Google that after we finish it. Speak the NFL, the Falcons, my team did beat the Buccaneers over the weekend, so that was good for me because I can't stand
Genuinely, right in the middle of the match, somebody reached into him and pulled out a ham. It was unbelievable.
He was eating it at the time, though, as well.
Oh, we need to wrap this up. I'm going absolutely mad here. This is going mad.
Well, it's good to have got one final question for you then. So if you haven't voted on the player of the match poll, you've got about 5 minutes to do it before I come around. So talking of the backline, there was a couple of comments about Millie Turner's improvement this season as well. And it's kind of ties into my question about the clean sheets. It's not something we've had all season. And Charlie, I guess if you want to place an importance on that, and also just the team defensively, did you think we looked a lot better this week in terms of defense? Because it is our first clean sheet of the season. So do you think the team was defensively better, or do you just think it was against a lesser opposition, so they didn't have too many chances?
Well, you're only playing what's in front of you, right? That's what I would say. I think we were fairly commanding in our box. In the war box, the keepers were just doing a lot of practice of sort of defending the 6-yard box against crosses. We dealt with that really well, I think. Considering the size, like not tankish, but being Poley size of Everton, they should have caused us more problems. I think they had a fair few corners. Some of them made up, weren't corners for them, but the referee wanted to even it out clearly. We just looked fairly commanding, fairly comfortable, a couple of shaky moments. I think the reaction of the defensive unit, particularly the centre-backs and Mary when the final whistle went, was proper celebrations, like Sylvester Stallone Rocky level celebrations. So I think it was really important for them to keep the clean sheet. I think as important as scoring 5 goals. I think if we'd won 1-0, Mary Earps and the back line would have been happy. I think they needed that, particularly when you think about last season when we let in so few goals. I think in the first few games we didn't even concede, and that was already being dragged up, wasn't it, and discussed by pundits and sort of journalists and things. So very important for them. But yeah, I think just massive. I think it helps going forward. If we can get a second and a third in the next couple of games in the build up to Derby, that'll be huge for us.
Certainly win. Obviously, Jeff, for yourself, what do you make of the team defence? Obviously, there's mixed comments saying that thought that Everton didn't do too much, but some saying that obviously they could have scored. Obviously, you didn't actually turn around and tell me off for stressing you out. So that must mean that Everton didn't have that much clear chances, because that means I wasn't stressing.
That is a good point, actually. And well, to be honest, I think I couldn't see, basically. Connor, we've kind of discussed this already. Everton had a chance, and for us, from where we stood, kind of behind Mary's goal, it looked like a very good chance, because all we could see is basically someone take a shot across goal, and all I could see is Mary not meet it, so miss it. And there was kind of a split second where I was waiting for the shout, the Everton fans to shout because it had gone in. Now, it actually just went wide, but that was about the only time that I got really, really stressed. And that was purely because I just couldn't see that half of the goal. There was a guy in front of me who was approximately 10 feet tall. So it was a little bit difficult to look around him. But no, I wasn't really too stressed at any point, to be honest. I think Letizia did kind of get rolled or turned on a couple of occasions. I don't think she's quite started the season the way she finished it last year. But I wouldn't say that she's playing particularly poorly. I think that she's just players are kind of beating her, whereas they weren't last season so much. I think that Millie Turner, however, has really stepped up. I know she did kind of lose possession a couple of times, but, it's football, it's kind of expected. I've seen her kind of put in more of the big tackles that I'm sort of expecting. I've come to expect from like Maya now. So maybe just that partnership, they're kind of rubbing off on each other, and maybe, as one's having a bit of a rougher time, the other one's kind of picking up, which is basically what you want from a centre-back partnership, really. They do seem to have a really good understanding of each other and each other's strengths, weaknesses, positioning. I think if we can keep those two together, then once we get back into kind of the groove of things, maybe our right back and left back a little bit more settled, hopefully we'll stop being quite so leaky at the back. I think, like we said, though, that clean sheet was big for us. It was just as important as kind of getting the win.
Certainly was. I know what as Colin said, the one that Mary left looked well wide in the FA player. It probably was, but from where we were stood, not being able to see that side of the goal and just seeing the ball whiz past and not see the far corner and see Mary dive for it, it looks a lot closer than it probably was. But as Jess said, you couldn't see it. If you weren't at the front row, you couldn't see hardly anything when people stood around you and in front of you and everything like that. Yeah. Is what it is on that one. Mark and then Barry, bring us home on this one, talking about the back line and the kind of defence. What do you make of the team defensively in this one?
Go on, Barry. I'll let you go first before you kick me out again.
I even come back against that, Mark, because it was an accident there. I've got just 2 points really to make on all of this. Number one, there's people saying, if we'd have been playing another side, they would have punished us. It would have been a different score. As Gino De Campo once said, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike. We've got to stop trying to compare matches to other teams that haven't actually played. It's amazing. We all seem to play the game in our head against other teams that haven't existed in other games where scenarios have been created that don't actually exist. It's all being played in our heads, and because it's played in our heads, we're all correct. Really, the only thing that matters is that there was 4 shots on targets and Mary Earps on target. Oh, the cough sweets are really kicking in now, kids, I tell you. But the 4 shots on target were saved by Mary Earps, and that's really all that matters. So I'm not interested in any other games. I'm not interested in any of those other thoughts. I'm just interested in the fact that we had a back 4 that was exactly like last year, the only change being Riviere instead of Onabatier, and we've had our best defensive performance. So that says it all for me.
Yeah, you see, it must be like a brotherly intuition, because I was going to say something very similar to that. When you look at last season, we had a settled back 4 for every game. And I think slowly but surely this season, we've obviously with the terrible injury to Gabby, we've now got a settled back 4. And with that back 4 getting used to playing with each other, defensively, we will get better. There's no doubt about that in my mind. We just need to keep everyone fit, and the clean sheets will continue to come along. It's as simple as that. They'll all get used to each other, and we've just got to enjoy it. Enjoy yesterday. It's done now. We now look to Brighton in a fortnight, and it's as simple as that. The back 4 will just get used to playing with each other now.
No, I think that's fair points all round. There's a couple of comments, obviously talking about the defence in more detail. To be fair, Barry, this might be one for you on Thursday or Friday. Don't know when the show is yet, but I think it was RC's comment there talking about obviously long balls. We have conceded a few from that, and to be fair, that's mainly what we conceded from last season. But yes, that's maybe a discussion point. We do have. I may as well just say it now. So the fans forum, Barry. When is that happening? Is that Thursday or Friday this week?
Yes.
One of those days. There we go. We are so organised on this channel, you wouldn't believe it.
I mean, it could be Thursday, but that's also probably going to be the one where we do the men's channel. So it depends. You know, there's no preview, so it could be Thursday or Friday. What do the fans want? When do they want it? Do they want to come and see us on Thursday? They want to see us on Friday? In the comments, everyone wins the most. I'll do it on that night.
I can't watch it on Thursday. Sorry, Barry, I'm busy.
Right, so Friday night's got one vote already. I'm going to start writing it down. Thursday, Friday, 1.
I'm seeing Eric Cantona live in concert.
There, I would absolutely pick that over me also.
Indeed. So there is a fans forum. We've not done one for a while, so we thought international break, why not get one in on that one? But yeah, it'll be on our Twitter, at allforunitedvids. You can find that one. Before we do wrap this one up, then obviously player of the match poll, I did end it a second ago. Nikita Parris did win ours with 48%. Riviera second on 36. Williams on 8. Malard on 6. Is that who everyone would have gone for? Would everyone have gone for Parris, or would somebody have gone, or would anybody have gone for somebody different?
I went Parris. I went Parris this time.
I went Parris as well.
I went Jade.
I went Jade as well.
Well, you did it all. I went Parris. And I'm going to lift up the curtain just a little bit here, because before we do the player of the match poll, Connor always texts us all and goes, "Who's your 4? Who's your 4?" And today, Connor was more like Vladimir Putin than Connor, because basically he listened to what every single one of us had to say and then just picked what he wanted to pick anyway, which is quite interesting because, and I say this genuinely, he was unsure whether to go for Katie Zellum or Malard. Now, I personally said I would have dropped Riviere purely because I hadn't seen it in the highlights, but I was happy to go along with what other people said. But everybody else seemed to go, oh, maybe I would have picked Zellum over Malard, or Charlie said the 3 goal scorers should be in there, but I'm not really fussed whether it's Jade or Zelly. I think either of them would be okay. So I found it quite interesting that when he finally put the 4 out there, it was just the ones that he wanted. And the one that he didn't win. So that'd be a lesson to you, kid.
False allegations. I asked Jess and Mark before you joined the stream, I'll have you know. And they both did say the 4 that are on there. So majority decision, as the boxing would say.
I'm taking to argue with you, Tom.
I'll argue with him. I'm not bothered if I have to argue with him. It's the right. Look, I think Katie's in it most weeks. We can give her a week off.
Agreed.
I was going to say she's been in most of them. To be fair, I think she has been in almost every one. So, and that's
to be fair, even if Katie Zellum had been there, I'd still have picked Parris.
It was between those two, wasn't it? Really, Parris and Riviera. Obviously, the votes show that one, but yes, Parris just nicked it on this occasion. And yeah, a few obviously people saying in the chat as well went for Parris. Dave went for Rachel though, which, to be fair, came on, scored a couple of goals. Can't argue with that one either. So I'm glad for once we
Dave, you are Charlie, and I collect my £5.
Indeed. To be fair, everyone's got their alts, haven't they? But yes. No, see, look what you've started now. No. That's not how we run things here.
Emotive language. That's not how we run things here. Trying to get everyone on side.
Sorry, I just read that. I thought it said, I didn't see the 8 at the end. I was agreeing with it partially then. Sorry, Connor.
I can't believe this. Mark, what's the supporters up to these days? Obviously, I'm sure you've got a coach down to Brighton. Is there any space left on that? Obviously, in Bristol as well. I'm sure you've got some.
We've got a coach running down to Brighton. Charlie's on it as well. She's bringing cake.
School cake.
Yeah, school cake. No idea.
Which is just a sponge, white icing, loads of sprinkles.
There you go. If you want to get on the coach.
I'm suddenly thinking I can get on the bus.
So there's a coach. It's going from leaving Old Trafford. There is a Birmingham pickup if you go to. Hang on, while I get the website. This is how prepared I am for this. If you go to oneclubunited.co.uk, you can book on. Currently, I think we're at 30 on the coach down to Brighton. So it's a full coach so far.
There we are. So
there's space for more. There's space for more. We can always get a bigger coach, but we're not going to go smaller.
No, indeed, it's on the increase. We spoke about that obviously in the show with you and Slater.
Yeah,
it's getting bigger.
Yeah, but you'll never get on a coach, will you, Connor? Because you're not in control. His words, not mine.
I just like driving. I don't know what it is.
Yes, and we all know what happens when you drive to football games.
Ethan Mannion gets run over. That's what
or
happens.
a Seat,
boyfriend.
Yeah, or a Seat gets called at a game and Connor's thinking, that could be my car.
God, the panic when that round went.
You see, panic. Why panic? Let someone else do the driving for you. Go and relax. Maybe watch a movie.
Andrew's in the comments. I'm sure he'll back me up. He enjoys the trips.
I think you'll find Andrew's on the coach.
Might well do, but to be honest, I don't think either of you should be driving.
Well, to be fair, that's why we go together. Back each other
Andrew's
up
on the coach to Brighton.
He is, but yeah, we discussed this on the way to the car yesterday. I wasn't very happy with that. I couldn't believe it. He's ditching me.
No, he's taking a sensible option.
Yes. Can't believe it. Not many people are going to Brighton. I've been asking around. Jess is ditching us.
Sorry,
it's almost like the game is on at an absolutely ludicrous time of day for a Sunday.
Almost, yes.
I thought there could be nothing worse than I'm sure, Mark, we've had an 11 a.m. kickoff in Brighton in the morning.
It was 11:30 last year.
30, which was also grim. They've managed to make it worse. They have managed.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great for football fans, but United.
There'll still be more United fans there than Brighton fans. As is standard.
I think they're giving us the terrace, haven't they?
Yeah, and the seating's sold out. There's a seating section as well that's sold out.
Indeed.
Once I bought tickets for everyone, I gave up looking. Sorry.
And that's a fair comment. Yes, there probably is. Because I don't. Any movie recommendation that gets sent my way, I probably won't watch it. So there we are. Not really comment. Right, we'll wrap it up there. As I said, we'll be back later on in the week. We do have some other shows early next week as well. Be it internationals, we still got some shows to go out. So yeah, there'll be a fans forum later in the week, which will be good because we've not seen one of them for a while. So you get to see some returning faces back for that one, and potentially some new faces as well, which would be great to see, to give their opinions on the
Mark said Friday, but then RC said Thursday, so it's a 1-1 draw. We are right up the creek here.
Well, luckily it's our decision, Barry, because we put the shows out. So we'll make a decision at some point tomorrow. I don't know. Anyway, make sure you're following the Twitter at allforunitedvids. Obviously, as Mark said, following the supporters club and the travel account as well, because it is very useful and handy to have that alongside as well. Obviously, liking the video, subscribing, all of that stuff. And we shall see you guys in April.